Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Shout out to Lottie Dottie and each and everybody. As you guys come in the room, say hi to me. I'll try to say hi to you, but I'm also driving as I'm streaming live. Hopefully my signal is not choppy. Hopefully my signal remains consistent. You can hear what I say and all of the things. For those of you guys who have never been with me before, or you have no idea who I am, my name is Candy Sincerity Johnson. My partner in life, my partner in business, Miss Shawn Johnson, is at home holding down both businesses. She's responding to email. She is posting on our social media accounts. She's homeschooling our children. And she is being an amazing and tremendous support system to me. I am en route about 2.5, almost 3 hours south of where we live. I'm headed to a hospital probably an hour past the town that Shawn and I met in, where we went to college. And I'm headed to see my father. So for those of you guys who have been following my journey, you know that my father and I have had a pretty strange relationship. And we were just working on cultivating our relationship. And we had a family meeting or family reunion where he had an opportunity to meet my twins on this weekend. So as he was en route back to Tennessee, which is where he lives, he got sick and he stopped to see some family members in southern Illinois, where I'm driving. And when he stopped to see the family members, he got sick and ended up getting rushed to the hospital. So in the midst of getting rushed to the hospital, things quickly progressed and seemingly got worse. And so because I'm the closest family member and I'm his daughter, his only daughter, then of course I'm going to see about my dad. So that is the long and short of it. For those of you guys who don't know, what I do or who I am a business owner of an amazing women's fashion brand online, the Sincerity Johnson brand. And I also do business coaching and money coaching. I help people start businesses. I help people take control of their time and their lives and generate, 5x more revenue per year than what they previously did. I help people work to live life on their own terms and become the best version of themselves and allow money to afford them a better lifestyle for themselves and their family. And I document my journey, and I work with other people who want to do something similar for themselves. So if you want to work with me, if you've been watching me, if you've been looking at my journey and anything that I've shared with you guys, if I've added value to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, I asked Shawn before I left the house a couple of minutes ago to put my website on sale. CandySincerityJohnson.com is on sale for 50% off. You can get anything on the website, any of my books, any of my digital products, any of my programs, any of my courses for 50% off. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I'm having an emotional day. So because I want to be a blessing to you, there you go. For anybody who's been wanting to take advantage of anything, everything is 50% off. Hey, Miss Dion. Dion said, Lord have mercy, lifting your dad up in prayer. Thank you very, very much, Dion. And thank you to all of the best friends that are watching live and everybody who will catch this video as a replay. If I could share a thought with you guys, here's my thought for today. In life, in all aspects of our life, whether it is in our relationship with our spouse, in our relationship with our children, in our relationships in business, in our relationship with our Creator, if you're a person of faith. We have to get to the point, family, where we're making more deposits than withdrawals. Let me say this again. We have to get to the point where people feel that we're adding more value and we're making more deposits than withdrawals. Last night or yesterday, this thing started yesterday with my dad. I was out with the twins. You guys know we homeschool them. They're 9. We homeschool them, and the twins and I had taken a break to go grab something to eat. And while we were on that break, I got a call from my mom, and my mom was like, hey, I'm off work, come by the house because we made a pot of stew, and we know you love beef stew. It's cold outside. Come get some beef stew. So I said, okay. I said, well, the kids and I are in a real good spot as it relates to, their schooling and stuff. I said, so I actually got time to run over there and I'm going to get the stew. So while I was there, I got a call from my dad's mom, which is my grandma. So I got a call from my grandma, and my grandma said, hey, your dad's being rushed to the hospital. He's down in Champaign, Illinois. He's down, much south of us. And, he's being rushed to the hospital. I really don't know the details of what's going on. So I gave it a minute, and then I tried to call my dad's phone. A lady answered the phone when I called, and I had never heard this lady's voice before. You could tell that she was a lady of a different, ethnicity. So she said, hey, I'm sitting in the emergency room with this man, and I don't know him, and he can't speak right now. So when his phone rang, I answered the phone because I told the people at the front desk that he's in desperate need of emergency help, and nobody's listening to me. They don't realize how critical he is. And before he stopped really being able to speak, he said that he can't feel the right side of his body. So instantly, my heart sank. It started to feel like stroke-like symptoms, right? So I said, oh my God. I said, ma'am, can you put me on speakerphone so that I can speak to my father? She said, yes. So the lady puts me on speakerphone, and I'm like, Dad, can you hear me? He's like mumbling. She said that he's slumped over. He's looking like he's about to fall out of this wheelchair that they got him sitting in. He can't talk. He can't walk. And I'm like, oh my God, I literally just saw my dad yesterday. He was fine. He looked like he had started to slow down a little bit. But, I know my dad has liver problems, so, whatever. So the lady was like, I literally was just sitting here. So I just answered his phone. But you really need to get down here. You really need to get him some help. So I'm telling the lady, I said, well, my brothers live in Tennessee. One lives in Michigan. I'm 3 hours away. My grandma, which is his mom, is out of town. She's in Arizona right now. Like, nobody's there. So as I'm on the phone with the lady, I pick up the other phone and I call the hospital. So I'm explaining to them, look, you guys are right there in the emergency room with him. Go give him help. This is what he's presenting. These symptoms are really bad. So they rush him to the back. They start working on him, and they seemingly get him stable. I talked to my dad last night, and I talked to him this morning. He's in excruciating pain. I talked to the nurses, and the nurses were saying, we see several very large masses on his liver. We're doing biopsies today, but it's very much so looking like it's liver cancer, and it's very much so looking very progressive, is what they told me this morning. So I said, okay, all right, God. So last night before I went to bed, I sent a group text to my brothers. I heard back from all but 2. I heard back from all but 2. I'm going to repeat what I said. in life, in business, in your children's lives, in your spouse's lives, in every aspect of relationship that you have with other humans and with your creator. You have to show up the best you can, trying to make more deposits in people than withdrawals. Because what happens in life when you send people through a bunch of changes, comes the day where you have to face the music, right? It comes the day, like it or not, family, where you have to face the music. And when that day comes, if you have not made deposits in people, when it's time for you to make withdrawals from people, you then may look around and not have who you need to have to get through the storm that you're going through. You understand what I'm saying? So, I was on a conference call with my brother, two of my brothers. They was like, hey sis, let us know if you need us, we'll drop everything. But we're talking about, again, I'm one of 6 on this side. These are professional men. These men, some of them have businesses. I have a brother who has a tax service. He has multiple locations. He's got a huge staff. We're in the middle of tax season. He has 2 children. He's got a wife. He's got all of these things, right? It's very difficult for people to just drop everything and jump up and go across state lines, to handle stuff, right? And the consistent thing is that we've asked our dad over and over again, all of us, without even knowing that any of us had the same conversation with him. We've all asked him, Dad, you got these issues with your liver. The people are saying that this is not reversible. Will you stop drinking? Will you please stop drinking? And the answer that he has given every single one of us that we found out on the phone last night is, the answer has not been, yeah, I'll stop drinking. Yeah, I'll make changes. The answer that he's given every single one of us is, the damage is already done. The damage is already done. I'm like, well, damn. Well, what about your grandkids? Like, forget us. You understand what I'm saying? It's water under the bridge with all of us. We're adults. What about your grandkids? The damage is already done. The damage is already done. So let me tell you something about a business owner. You guys already know this, but let me just repeat it. Let me just tell you something about a business owner. All of us are really successful. That's one thing I could say. One thing I could say about my dad is he's very, very smart. He's very, very handsome. He was able to pick some of the best women in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because all of us had outstanding mothers. Our lives weren't perfect, but we had damn good mothers. So my brothers are extremely successful. All of them are either business owners or they work 9 to 5s and they doing their thing. All of them that have children take care of their children. They see their children on a daily basis. I'm talking about stand-up dudes. Stand-up dudes. Real good dudes. Really good dudes. Teachers. Business owners. Truck drivers. You see what I'm saying? Like stand-up guys. But I don't know. I feel so bad because you guys know me. Like, this ain't even about me. This don't have nothing to do with me. This is not about me at all. But one of the reasons why I made the decision to jump up and drop everything and come down here, even despite the fact that I should be at home working on my own businesses, right? Is I thought about my grandma. I thought about my dad's mom. And I said, Candy, you're a mom. And she's out of town right now because my cousin was sick and I didn't know it. My first cousin, him and I went to high school together. He's a year younger than me. He was sick And him and his wife live in Arizona. He's a pastor. And they have flown out there to take care of him, to look after him, to make sure he was good. So my grandma is going through all of this, and her son is sick, but she can't even be there for him because she was just being there for her grandson. You see what I'm saying? And so in my mind, I'm like, my grandma got 4 kids. She already lost one. My aunt already passed away. She was tragically killed. Like my grandma done been through enough. And then to be going through this with my dad. So in my mind, just to be able to take a little bit of stress off of her, she don't deserve this. She deserves so much better than this. She deserves so much better than this. And so, really, that's really just the what I guess needed to get off of my chest, is that sometimes, y'all, in life, we make choices that other people got to sit and deal with the consequences of. And some of these choices could have been avoided. Some of this could have been avoided. You understand what I'm saying? So when all of this went down yesterday, Kennedy and Caleb had just met my dad. So, Caleb was real emotional because 2 months ago we just lost my stepdad to liver failure. My stepdad just died from this 2 months ago, y'all. So for Caleb, he looking around like, why is every black man connected to me drink so much? Like, what? Why is every black man connected to me dying? Like, what? So Caleb just started crying. So I was there for the kids, and I had a conversation with them, but I made them a promise. And the promise that I made to my children yesterday is, you're going to grow up and you're going to have a life of your own. God willing, you're going to fall in love, you're going to get married, you're going to have children, you're going to have businesses, you're going to have careers, and you're going to be successful. And when that happens for you, I promise, if I can help it, not to be a burden to you. When you get that call that your mom is sick and dying, I promise you, it's not going to be because I did something that I could have avoided. You understand what I'm saying? Like, the wagon's going to roll down the hill for all of us. And there's going to come a day where we all got to face the music. You understand what I'm saying? But far be it for me to do anything, to make choices that's going to speed the train up. I don't want my kids to ever feel what my brothers and I feel. Kennedy and Caleb both have practice today. Kennedy and Caleb are homeschooled. I have 2 businesses. You see what I'm saying? I would have called y'all last night, but I was on the phone returning phone calls all night. I haven't spent time with Sean, and I'm not making this about me. I'm just saying, when we make decisions as adults, y'all, we don't think about who these decisions impact in the long term. And a lot of people want to say, well, alcoholism, drug use, all of these things that people choose are illnesses and sicknesses. But it's really, is it? I mean, I guess some people say that on paper, but it's really the series of choices. You see what I'm saying? It's the series of choices that people make. And we gotta be honest with ourselves, and we gotta stop having emotional conversations, because stuff fit us and it's hard to deal with reality. You know what I'm saying? God will honor us in us just literally living in our truth and being honest and having real grown adult conversations. And the truth of the matter is, the same conversation that I was having yesterday with my brothers as it relates to my dad, I had to turn around and have a conversation with my mom. And I told my mom, I said, Mom, you never drank, and you've never done drugs, but you smoke cigarettes, and sis, as sure as my name is Candace, I'm not playing with you. Put them cigarettes down. I told her last night, I said, I'm the responsible kid. My brother Kendrick is the responsible kid. We always the ones everybody call on. But everybody got a bandwidth, and everybody got a level of capacity. You understand what I'm saying? And just because when you call, I show up, don't mean I gotta show up, and don't mean I shouldn't have to show up. You understand what I'm saying? It's gotta be balanced. It's gotta be balanced. So I said all that to say, if you guys don't learn anything from me in the financial realm, we all, myself included, because I don't eat healthy, we all got to make better choices as it relates to our body and what those choices are looking like for the people that we love and care about. That's the takeaway. That's the takeaway. So part of the reason why I choose to live my life out loud is because I want God to use my life, my family's life, everybody connected to me, to be a shining example of what you should do and what you shouldn't do. This is what you shouldn't do. Sometimes I show y'all what you should do, but sometimes the lesson is just as powerful in you seeing what you shouldn't do and the hurt that it causes the people that you love and care about. Now, there's no doubt in my mind that my Father loves me. He tells me every time I talk to him. He tells me every time I see him. But I will say this. The past 2 times I've seen my dad, it's been more for him than for me. Or the past couple of times that I've seen my dad, it's been more for him than for me. It was in the courtroom. You know, it was, now in the hospital. You know what I'm saying? And so it goes back to the conversation about deposits and withdrawals, y'all. When people see your name pop up on the phone, when people see the people that are connected to you, people shouldn't be like, oh, hell, wouldn't it happen now? You see what I'm saying? People shouldn't be reluctant about answering the phone. I want to be the person that when I call, you look forward to the conversation. Because you know it's going to be more good times than bad times. The bad times going to come. We're human beings. But I want to be, when I leave this world, whenever that is, I want to be the made so many deposits that people feel obligated to surround Kennedy and Caleb during their darkest time. Because I done made so many deposits that people say, man, your mama was there for me. I was going through this. She blessed me. She said this. She said that. You understand what I'm saying? She taught me something. She loved on me. She showed up for me even if she didn't know me. You see what I'm saying? I want to be a blessing to people. I don't want to take. I don't like what it feels like when people see you as that. When people see you as a burden. I don't like that. That don't feel good. I don't want my brand and my name and my legacy to be associated with that. I don't know. Y'all don't pray for me. I see people saying they praying for me. I appreciate it. Pray for my grandma. Pray for my grandma. Pray for my brothers. I'm fine. But I don't know how they are. I don't know. These are men. I heard men, grown men, feeling some kind of way last night. I heard that. I don't know. People can only take so much. My grandma, he done send my grandma through it. You understand what I'm saying? He done send her through it. And she keeps showing up. She keep loving him. Boy, a mother's love. You understand what I'm saying? No matter what he do, she just keeps showing up. She keeps showing up. You understand what I'm saying? The God that she served, I want to meet that God one day. I want to meet that God one day. Because the way how she love, baby, y'all don't know this love. Y'all don't know this love. To have a daughter, you know, my aunt that I was telling y'all about before, to have a daughter and her husband kill her, murder her, and to get that call, and you got to go to Tennessee and bury your child, and she go to Tennessee and we bury my aunt, and me see my grandma wrap her arms around and forgive the family of my aunt's husband. Y'all don't know. See, people talk about love and forgiveness. People talk about it. You see what I'm saying? But what do it look like when the rubber meet the road? You see what I'm saying? When the rubber meet the road, what do it look like? Everybody talk about forgiveness until somebody do them wrong. Forgiveness is easy when everybody doing what you want them to do. What do forgiveness look like when you're called on to show up for somebody who ain't really been there for you like that? It hit different. And I keep telling y'all, I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place because I don't know what God is doing in my life right now. I don't know. I know I asked God to make my voice heard across this nation by people that I don't know and never met that may be able to benefit from what I have to offer. I asked God to put me in a position where my family could be blessed with a 7 or 8 figure business this year, or businesses this year. I asked God to download strategies inside of me that will be able to help people get out of the rat race of just getting up, working for money, paying bills, existing, and just existing. Show us strategies that will allow us to live the life that you designed and created us to live. So in the midst of me asking God to do these big, audacious things, all of this stuff started to happen. So I'm sitting back and I'm like, God, is this my test? Is this my test? How can I minister to people and bless people and touch people and impact people and my family is falling apart? You understand what I'm saying? The people who raised me, I gotta go take care of them more than they took care of me. I don't know. I don't know. Y'all, when I was a little kid, this is the first time I ever told y'all this, I think. When I was a little kid, I went to Catholic school. And I went to school with a lot of white kids and a lot of kids that was Asian and from different communities. So it wasn't but a handful of black kids that went to the school. And majority of these kids were well off. I'm talking, they parents owned car dealerships, chiropractors. Their parents were doctors, lawyers, had all of these big, crazy, mansions and stuff. And I remember people saying, Candace, what does your mom do? And I said, oh, because my mom at the time, for almost 30 years before they closed down the buildings that she worked in Illinois and relocated a lot of jobs out of state, my mom worked for AT&T. My mom worked for Lucent Technologies. So I'm like, oh, my mama worked for AT&T. She works in corporate, And they're like, oh, well, what does your dad do? Where's your dad? Every single time somebody asked me that, my dad was either in jail or in prison. Every single time. And I used to always make up, now, the same person, and let me not tell half of the story. My father is also a fully disabled military vet. So he served the military. He's, I believe, fought in wars, and he's definitely been through some very traumatic things that probably either completely or majority played a part as to how we got here with him. You understand what I'm saying? So I just remember being that kid in school. I remember being that kid in school and being so ashamed. Like, I didn't want to fall into the whole notion of, yeah, this is what y'all see on TV. This is what you see on the news. This is what a lot of people from other communities think about black men as it relates to their kids. I didn't want to say what he really was. So I would make up these stories, and I would be like, you know, he lives out of state, which he did. He did. He lived in Tennessee. But I'd be like, he live out of state, you know, and he owns this company, or he works for this, you know, he works at this place. And people will be like, oh my God. And it took me having kids. It took me going through different things in my life and realizing that ain't your cross to bear, sis. You ain't got nothing to be embarrassed about. You and your brothers don't have anything to be embarrassed about. Your uncles and your aunts and your grandma and everybody, y'all don't have nothing to be embarrassed about. Because you accomplished what you accomplished in spite of. You understand what I'm saying? My brothers went to college, graduated from college, pledged fraternities. You know, I pledged a sorority. We all got degrees. We all got businesses. We're all successful. We're in our careers and stuff in spite of. In spite of. And so I started looking at it different. So now, when people ask, I tell the truth. You know, my father is a retired military vet. That's the truth. And my father is sick right now, and I'm going to take care of him. That's the truth. But if you would have asked me a couple of years ago, ain't no telling what I would have said, y'all. Ain't no telling. Because I wanted people to see and respect him the way they seen and respected me in business. Some of the business advice that I give you came from conversations that I had with my father. He's one of the smartest men you'll ever meet in this world. He's a genius. I watched him go before a judge and be in a position where he was facing upwards of 20 years just for a DUI. But like, when you get so many, they throw the book at you. You understand what I'm saying? And he was facing all of this time. And I remember saying to him while he was standing there shackled in court, Dad, you got money. Why didn't you hire a lawyer? He said, because a lawyer is not going to represent me the way I can represent myself. I looked at him, I said, Dad, you're crazy. Like, what are you doing? Do you know how much time these people are trying to give you? He said, yeah, but watch me get off on a technicality, because they didn't honor my rights. There's things that I, as a U.S. citizen, as a law-abiding citizen, was entitled to that they didn't do. And because they didn't do it, and I could prove it, the charges won't stick. I sat back and I watched him go against the state. And I watched every single count be thrown out. And I watched him bring me up on the stand as a character witness. He didn't know what I was going to say. I could have got up there and I could have told the truth. I could have said, hey, he really wasn't the best father. And hey, he might be able to benefit from sitting still for a little while. But I spoke from my heart. And I told the judge, I said, Judge, my father needs help. And locking him up is not the help he needs. He needs treatment, you know, for his alcoholism. He needs treatment and stuff for his drinking. And I watched the judge melt, listening to me and my father in that courtroom a few years ago. And the judge threw everything out. And the state of Illinois walked out of the courtroom, slammed the doors. And my father chuckled and told me, I told you, girl, I should have been a lawyer. He told me, he said, whenever he's incarcerated, whenever he's locked up on the DUI, because that's all it ever is, a DUI, he's never hurt nobody. He said he spent his time helping other people with their cases, looking at the evidence in the law library, reading, studying the Bible, reading the Quran. He's just a genius. He's a genius. But the world got robbed of what was an amazing, amazing man. And I don't say this past tense. I say this because, you know, he's 59 years old. I believe he's 59 or 60 years old. But there was so much potential, even in them 59 or 60 years that he's had. Now, I pray that he still has more time where the world could benefit from his gifts. But if y'all think I'm smart, you don't even know. I got it from somewhere. I got it from somewhere. Yep, I got it from somewhere. He's a good dude. He's a good dude, y'all. He just needs more help than what we can give him as a family. But he's got to want it. He's a good dude. He's a real good dude. I wouldn't be going down here if I didn't really believe in my heart that he was a good man. So, that's it, best friends. I really am just talking at this point. Sean asked me earlier how I'm doing. Y'all, the past like 6 months I've been through hell. This is the part that I'm able to show you, but there's a lot more that's been going on that I can't show you because of the people that's involved. But I've been going through a lot in the past 6 months, y'all. I've been going through a lot. But it's nobody but God that's kept me. It's nobody but God that's kept me. Even on the days where I felt like I didn't have anything else to give and I couldn't stand anymore, God just saw fit to just give me a little bit more. To remind me of what I'm doing all of this for. On the days where I felt like I just couldn't stand anymore, he would send Kennedy and Caleb in the room where I was working to just give me a kiss and a hug and just tell me that they love me. Or, you know, one of y'all would just put a comment under a video. Or, you know, just, you know what I'm saying, say something that really just blessed me without even knowing it. And that's really what's just kept me going the past 6 months. That's it. Driving through this town called Pontiac, Illinois. Pontiac is in the middle of nowhere, y'all. Let me show you Pontiac. Look at where I'm at. The middle of nowhere. I'm in Pontiac, Illinois. I remember Pontiac is like the halfway point between where we live and where I went to college. So Pontiac is like that halfway point. I remember having to go to Pontiac to see my dad. I believe he was in Pontiac when I was in college. He was there for a while when I was in college. So one weekend I had went home. I was coming back, going back to school, and I stopped to see him. And I just remember just thinking, like, we doing this all wrong. At the time, I was getting my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I'm like, what are we doing? I very easily could be one of the guards that's working here. I can't come to work and see you. I was thinking that. Dad, I can't come to work and see you. I could never come to work and see you. But I was getting my bachelor's degree in criminal justice. And I later went on to have, my own issue, which I told you guys about, and I wrote about it, Moments of Redemption, in my book. But I ended up having my own issue where, I caught a battery case. It was a misdemeanor case, but I caught a battery case. And for many instances, it disqualified me from being able to do anything in my field. So I got that degree, but I couldn't do anything with it, which is why I ended up later going back, getting a master's degree in business. So, yeah. So I'm going to definitely make sure that I go back and read you guys' comments as soon as I get to the hospital and get settled. But because I'm driving and using my navigation, I'm unable to see them. But I appreciate you guys joining me on this ride. I really do. I really do. Sean is holding this thing down. The whole time that I was supposed to be helping her pack orders last night, I was on the phone taking care of business as it relates to my father. And I was, communicating with my siblings, talking to the hospital, talking to my dad, talking to my grandma, talking to my mom, my family on my mom's side, making sure I had people in place and everything in place for the twins, because, they both have practice. Life still goes on, whether I'm present or not. So making sure I had made arrangements for my babies for the day, And Sean, without hesitation, just jumped up early yesterday when she got home from taking care of her grandma. She jumped up, she just started packing orders. So half of the orders are packed up and they're moving today. They'll be there to pick them up this afternoon about noon. You guys should have received tracking information for Sincerity Johnson. And so those packages will be moving. The other half will go out tomorrow. We're going to be packing them up tonight, and they're going to start moving tomorrow. So you guys will start receiving more tracking numbers tonight, and those will start to move tomorrow when those get picked up. So the one thing about business is when you have a business, when you're a business owner, when you have a 9-to-5, you can call off work, you might have vacation time, etc. When you're a business owner and you're an entrepreneur, you get started and you have either no team or a small team, and it's just you or just you and one other person, like with us, you honor your commitment. So it was a pleasure packing those orders last night, because for us, well, for Sean, she said it helped her get her mind off of things, because she couldn't really do anything with me. But I appreciate you guys, because all of the love and support that you give to us and our businesses, you allow us to do what we're called to do, and you allow us to serve you at a high level, and you allow us to do it in a way where we're still able to balance our time and be there for family during the day. So we appreciate you and we love you for it. Really, really do. We really, really do. Yeah. So I appreciate the fact that God gave me the vision to want to step out and leave my 9-to-5 a couple years ago, and start something that was all our own, because God has blessed us with both businesses every year since, every month since, every day since, every hour since, and every minute since. He's just blessed us. You know, from month to month, from day to day, as an entrepreneur, you don't know where your next meal is going to come from, if the money's going to come, if the people are going to buy, if they're not going to buy, you don't know. There's no guarantees in business. Me and my brother were talking about this last night. When he was talking about, you know, coming up here, he was like, sis, it's tax season. This is the Super Bowl for me, you know, in business. He like, you know, I got a family to support. And he said, you know, what people don't understand, when you called on to be there for family, you know, in business, as business owners, we eat what we kill. If we don't kill nothing, we don't eat. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but God always make a way. He's made a way. He's just been more kind to me than I could ever be to myself. He's just, I don't know. He's shown me so much favor. So much favor. So much favor. He chose me to do something, and I don't know why he chose me. But I trust him. I trust him. As my best friend Avriel said when she prayed over me last night, God, we trust you when we can't trace you. She said, God, we trust you. God, we trust you even when we can't trace you. And that's it. We trust you, God. We trust you. We trust you. We might not be able to trace you, but we sure trust you. We don't know why we headed down this road. I ain't been down here since I bought this truck last year. But God, we trust you. We trust you. Yeah, we do. We really do. Y'all, I'm not going to keep you. I'm just talking at this point. This is very therapeutic. Can I be honest with y'all? If I can't get to my therapist, I done messed around and called y'all. This is very therapeutic. This is very, very therapeutic. I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your encouraging words. I appreciate it. I really do. I appreciate it. My family appreciates it. My children appreciate it. My father, my grandma, you know, my siblings, everybody, we appreciate it. Because everybody's going through something in the world. We all going through something. We all going through something. Just because I called y'all and told y'all my problems don't mean you don't have none. And I ask that God covers you from the crown of your head to the sole of your feet. If anybody under my voice is sick, I ask God to remove any sickness, any illness, any disease, any fear, any depression, any anxiety, anything that's not like him and in alignment with his will for your life. I ask that he remove it right now. I ask that God covers you. I ask that 2023 is the absolute best year that you've ever experienced in your life. I ask God to open your eyes, open doors, show himself and show you exactly what's available to you. Give you a desire, a tenacity to want to do more for yourself, to want to go further, to want to be better. Allow us to want to be the best versions of ourselves that we could possibly be, God. Allow us to honor you in all of our ways, our words, our thoughts, our actions. If what we're doing is not pleasing to you, remove it now. Remove it now. If you're not getting glory and honor from it, remove it. Remove it. Remove it. Remove it. Yep. That's it. That's it. I want happiness for you guys. I want happiness for me. Yep. We can get through this. We can get through this. We will get through this. Yep. I'm going to, one of the things that makes me really, really happy, y'all, is personal development. Me and my dad were talking about personal development, books, coaching, learning a new skill set. He said every single morning he wake up, he looking for what he can learn. What book can I read? What information can I consume? How can I grow and how can I develop? So for the balance of my ride, I'm gonna tap into a video or a book, and I'm gonna listen to something, because I buy books. I buy the physical copy or the digital copy, and then I also get the audio version for when I'm in the car. So I'm gonna tap into some personal development, because I can't be in the car this long and not take advantage of pouring into myself in some capacity. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I'll definitely call you back soon. As soon as I know more, I'll call you back. So you guys keep your phones on. I don't know when. I don't know how the reception is gonna be in the hospital. I don't know what I'm about to face. I don't know. But I'll call you back. Even if I don't call you back the early part of the day, I'll call you back tonight. I'll do the absolute best that I can to call you back. And when I call you, I wanna pour into you. I wanna answer questions. I wanna teach. So think of anything that that I could teach you. If you got questions, think about your questions. Write those questions down. I want to serve you. I can't serve you right now because I'm driving. I can't look at the comments. When I call you back, I want to be in a position to serve. And I want you to be in a position to receive. Okay? I love you. There's not one thing you could do about it. I'm gonna love you whether you with me or whether you're not. And Sean loves you guys. Kennedy and Caleb love you. Mama love you. Daddy love y'all. My grandma, my aunts and uncles, my brothers, we love y'all, for real. We love y'all. And I pray that you're able to meet my people on good terms. You see what I'm saying? I pray that we just together having a good time as a family, doing what family do. But yeah, I'm sending virtual hugs to you guys, and I know you're sending them back. But I'll talk to y'all soon. Love you. Take care.